Tom Stolz. I'm the investigations chief for the Wichita Police Department, and I'm here this morning to discuss a release that was put out by the District Attorney's Office on Friday regarding the Dollar General store shooting which occurred last October 30th. The purpose of this release this morning is threefold. Number one is to answer inquiries from the media, both after the shooting in October and upon the release on Friday. We had inquiries from the media to see this video. In October, of course, in the days following this shooting, we could not release the video. It was part of a criminal investigation. There was two suspects that were arrested at that time, and they had not received trial yet. That time has now passed. Those cases have been litigated, and the District Attorney's Office made a ruling on Friday regarding the actions and the legality of the actions of the officers. Number two, the second reason we're here is to follow through with what is the City of Wichita, and specifically a Wichita Police Department philosophy of transparency. We believe in giving information when we can legally to the media and to the public, which explains actions or deeds by our employees. And number three, there is educational value in this video. It's hard to watch, tough to look at, but it is a very descriptive video of and shows the anatomy of an armed robbery happening. It shows heroism and calm of a store manager, to where if you're ever victimized in this type of situation, it's a how to be a good victim, which this store manager accomplishes. And it shows what police officers have to face when they are confronted with this type of call. So what we're going to do today is we're going to show you three videos, all from inside the store. There is going to be a perspective of the front door area, the two glass door areas. There's going to be a second perspective which shows the cash register area, and there is a third perspective captured by video at the back of the store. After each video, there will be some still photos where we will point out key things to watch for as we investigated this crime, and as the District Attorney's Office also looked at the actions of this evening. What the video will not show you is two previous robberies by this same group, one at this very same store on September 25th at closing time, a second one on October 2nd at the Family Dollar store in the 2500 block of South Seneca, same kind of MO at closing time, confronting employees. It will not show you, this video will not show you, nor can it show you, the mental and psychological terror felt by these two employees at the time of this robbery. They will tell us about that later, after the event, and the terror that they felt with three masked, armed men coming into the store and confronting them while they were just trying to do their job. It will not show you, and you cannot hear, the vulgar language and threats that these robbers made toward these employees. You will not hear the manager pleading for his female employee's life as they confront her in the back of the store. What the video will show you is the two employees trying to close the store. It will clearly show three masked, armed men coming into the store. It will show you an armed robbery in progress from the cash register, from the store manager himself, an attempt on the timed safe, and female employee at the back of the store being confronted and made to lay face down on the floor. They will show the suspects taking the female employee's cell phone and smashing it on the ground. You will see that. It will show three fully uniformed Wichita police officers come to the front door. You will see an officer first who will see the robbery happening. He will enter the store, and you will see the suspect run toward him in a confrontational manner. You will see a series of shots being fired, and you will be provided with an audio tape of this also. 35 or 36 shots fired from three different officers at this suspect as he runs toward them, until such time as he falls down and the threat is over and the shots immediately stop. You'll see officer number one enter further into the store to chase two other suspects in the back of the store. You will see that. You'll watch other officers arriving. You will see an officer or two drag the suspect's body away from the front of the door toward the side of the door. away from the doorway. They do that for three reasons. Number one, to clear the doorway because we still have a robbery happening inside. It allows other officers to perform CPR on that suspect, which they do. And it is standard protocol to clear the ingress and egress of a crime scene entryway. We would do it whether it was a suspect, a victim, or a police officer. We would treat that person the same way. The video will also show you suspects in the back of the store running immediately when police officers enter into the Dollar General. So we'll watch these videos. I don't know how we're going to do this here technically in the room. We'll have to move the cameras. It's going to be displayed on those two screens. I will tell you that I think the video speaks for itself. I'll answer what questions I can after we look at the video, but I think that what you'll see will answer any questions you have. So, and while they're setting this up, this is the front door of the store. That was the manager you just saw walk by. I'll kind of narrate as this goes. We'll try to speed this up when we can. You will be given today this video in its entirety. You will be given the uncut video from the store. There goes the female employee.
And Tom, as you're narrating, can you stand at the mic?
Sorry,
please?
Jared. Yeah. Okay. You'll just have to watch in entirety. Okay. So you'll be given this video. This is in a version that made it available for us to run it on this mode. You will be given the uncut version as well, and you will be given the audio tape of the 911 call. This call came in at 9:57 p.m. It was actually, nobody was talking. The manager dialed 911 as these robbers were entering the store and was able to put the phone aside. And so there was a number of minutes while that was going on. The dispatch could not ascertain what was going on in the store, and then they began to hear enough language. There goes the store manager. Now he's looking at, now he has received a call at this time asking what time the store closes, and he found that suspicious. He locks that rightmost door on the screen. That's critical later in the video. So that door on the right-hand side is locked. The one that he is opening there remains open. This is 4 minutes before the closing time of the store. And then we'll have, and I guess there's no way to speed this up, so we're going to have some space here where the next people you see come in the door will be the suspects.
How long is it?
2 or 3, 4 minutes. Right, Blake?
Not quite that long. The camera was on it.
Is there going to be some indicator where we'll know when?
No.
Okay.
You said you received a call a few minutes before.
Here we go.
came in.
Here comes suspect 1, 2. See the knife in that guy's hand. Here comes number 3. This is the person we end up shooting. You know, they're going to be in, and this is another series of minutes. Now, if you look at the reflection, you can watch the robbery by the cash register happen. This next video we show you will clear that up considerably. We actually have a camera on the cash register. We're going to leave the video run here because the next people you see come in that door will be police officers. There's just another robber going by and providing lookout.
So he didn't lock the door.
No,
He
that
said-
the right-hand door is locked. The other door is open. But this will come into play because there comes the officer. That door is locked. He now goes to the open door, and here we have confrontation. That shots fired last a little less than 6 seconds. He is still complying with orders at this time. Tell him to roll over. He's still got the knife. There's a number of verbal commands going on here, some of which when you listen to the 911 audio you will hear. He's kicking evidence away from the suspect. We're going to drag his body out of the way here in a little bit because we have a number of officers still responding, and we have an officer inside that store by himself with 2 robbers at this time. And the manager is pointing that out to the other officers. Got a number of other officers still arriving at this point. Still have a live situation going on inside. We're going to move that person out of the way. which we would do with any person. And they're going to begin, other officers responding immediately begin to provide CPR to that suspect on the outside the store. Now you'll see another number of other officers entering here at this point, and we get the other two suspects into custody without incident.
That's a supervisor.
Okay, you ready to flip? Now we'll go to the, okay, just some still photos now with some critical piece of information. There's a visible knife you can see. That's suspect number 2 coming in. Still suspect number 2. The red circle is going to show you where the knife is at. Go ahead, Blake. Here's the point of confrontation. What he's holding out there is a trash bag, and in his hand is a knife. It's not really visible from this scene, but you'll see. Go ahead and keep going, Blake. There's the knife in his hand yet after he's been shot. Still moving toward, there's 2 officers outside, still moving toward him, still a knife in the hand. Now he's down, shots are seized at that time. There's physical evidence outside, including the knife. Okay, now we're going to look, this is the cash register video. And this is just about 10 or 12 feet inside the door. Here's our employees. The manager is the male and the female employee. Closing up store. This will go on for a few minutes here.
Did they brandish knives at the previous 2 robberies as well?
Yes, sir, they did. And while this is running, I'll also tell you during this time period, October of 2011, we had 2 other violent robbery groups working. We had what we called the duct tape robbers at the time. That was during the same time period. We also had bank robberies going on. So robberies were prevalent during this particular time period. The officers who responded to this call had memory of this exact store being robbed on the previous time, about a month and a half earlier. You also get the anatomy of how to close a Dollar General store. It's the process they go through every night. If you watch the bottom of the screen now, when the robbers enter, you'll see some movement. You'll see a knife and an arm actually point toward him. So if you watch close to the bottom of the screen, that's the first sign you'll see that we have the robbery happening. He's got to come back to the front of the store.
What time did he get the call, the suspicious call?
9:57. Oh, him? About an hour before closing.
Hour.
Yeah. We got the 911 call came in at 9:57. And then there's a series of minutes here while dispatch is trying to ascertain what's going on. That time period has not started yet. Once the robbers come in, that time will begin to elapse. It took us less than a minute to respond. So the time that the robbery commences to the time where you see officers entering. There we go. There's suspect number 1 coming in. There's 2. You saw the knife flash. He's got the store manager confronted. So you got 2 suspects in the store and the 3rd suspect here with the manager. "911 call now has been made, but there is no talking. So we don't have immediately we don't have officers coming at this point yet."
The female employee called 911?
No, he had a handheld phone in his hand that he punched it with and set it on the counter there. Now that's a time elapsed safe that the robber wants open. It takes 10 minutes to open after the key is punched. So the safe is not going to open for 10 minutes. So he's robbing the cash register, giving the manager instructions on what he wants. And basically on the 9/11 tape, if you listen very carefully, you hear him say, "We want all of it," that kind of language. And that tape will speak for itself as well. Now at this time, the other 2 robbers have confronted the female in the back. You'll see a video of that following this one, a shorter video.
Is this the guy that gets shot?
Yes, sir.
So the manager has quietly called 911. The suspects, do you don't think they knew he called 911?
Guarantee you they did not.
Because that looks like the phone laying on the counter right there. No?
What? Okay. That's not the phone on the counter, Jared. He had the phone somewhere else.
Okay.
Robbing him now?
Yes, this is another counter robbery, robbing his person, which was also what they did on the other robberies as well. Once they came into the store and began moving employees, that represents kidnap as well in the state of Kansas. Manager does an excellent job. He's calm and cool. He's an excellent witness later, according to the district attorney. And he's worried about his other employee. That's his main worry right now.
this manager present for the other robbery as well?
Yeah, I believe that is correct, yes.
Where's the phone again? I mean, is it picking up all the audio from this whole thing?
It is, I'm sorry?
He's not.
He's not the manager? No. I know he's been robbed before. I didn't know if it was that one. Let me answer the other question first. He was not the manager at the other robbery. He has been robbed before, though, I believe, and that's why when he got the suspicious call an hour before closing time, he took the actions he did. Now, what was the second? What I missed, sir?
The phone, where was the phone at?
It is concealed in a case around that area there.
Okay.
Now we've got officers there. He is going to duck because there's shots being fired. There goes officer number 1 toward the back to chase the other 2. He has already fired rounds at the suspect, and now the shooting is over. 2 more in the back. Just to talk about the bravery of that gentleman there again, he's going back to check on that employee. There's only 1 officer in that store at this time and 2 robbers. It's a very uncertain situation at this time. To show you what a job he did.
That's it.
Okay, this is now we're on freeze frame here. This is at the point that the robbery starts. That is a knife sticking out from a hand upon entry into the store. Knife in the suspect's hand as he's robbing the attendant. So when Blake, he's setting the knife down there momentarily. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Setting the knife down while he's loading money, and he'll pick it back up. All right, here's where the female employee is going to get confronted. This video doesn't last as long. Move forward on this.
What was the address again?
2427.
West.
Yes.
Pawnee.
West Pawnee.
Three officers fired shots.
That's correct. Yes, sir.
Where is the cashier in relation to this?
It's going to be toward the front of this, to the bottom of the screen.
Okay.
She's being told to get, oh, no, not yet. She's stacking something. It's coming shortly here. got a knife against her back. She'll tell you she feels it later. Told our officers that. That's kidnapped in the state of Kansas right there. We're going to force her on the ground back here to lay down. You'll see the cell phone pop out in that middle aisle pretty quick when they throw it down and break it. They've also done on previous robberies as well. There it goes, there with the cell phone. Like she's laying down back there now, right? They lay her down.
Right at the back of the aisle.
There's a back exit, is there a back exit door, I presume, to the business?
There is, I don't think it comes into play though.
Did they attempt to get to that door at any point?
They are running toward the back, but they give up before they get there.
Does that third suspect back with her have a weapon?
They all had knives.
They all have them.
Does this play through to where we come in?
It does, you'll see it.
And watch the action of these robbers. You'll see them overtly begin to run. That's the time that the officers walk in the door.
Has he got a knife there or a gun?
There's no guns.
Okay.
The suspects all knives.
What is she doing?
She's laying on the floor. When we were watching the first video of the front door, you would see the other robber, number 2, walking back and forth. This guy's stationary, and of course, the third man in the door is actually robbing the manager right now while this is going on.
Was there anybody else out in the parking lot in a car waiting for these guys?
We don't know the answer to that. Nothing that came up in the investigation. Either the officer involved shooting investigation or the criminal investigation of these 2 remaining suspects.
Did they rob this employee of their personal belongings?
No, I don't think so. Only the store manager. I mean, other than took her cell phone and threw it on the ground. I guess that's...
Yeah, you can tell it, but you can't tell that the manager dialed 911.
There we go. Cops are here. And that's immediately upon the... There comes officer number 1 after him. That's immediately upon the entry. What are we trying to show here, Blake?
This is just him making contact with the
Okay.
moving her.
Yeah, just the stills of him confronting and then there's the broken cell phone. The 2 robbers running is germane because there's some statements made afterwards that they saw the shooting happen, and that is not true. They ran when we entered the door. So, okay. And then this is where they gave up in the back of the store. That's the very first officer in the door, taking them into custody by himself, basically at that point yet, until other officers get there to assist him. And they had given up before he got around the corner. What you'll have today, each of you, is a a video with all of these videos attached. And there is also a 911 tape on that video, so your tech people back at your facilities can extrapolate the information off of that however you see fit. I would ask you that as you present this, that we try to give the entire video to show the total circumstance. I would ask that you give some thought to the total circumstance of this as well. So, with that, I'll answer what questions I can, which I think it's pretty explicit what happened, but I'd be glad to try to answer questions if I can.
What's your goal in doing this? I mean, this isn't something that the police department normally does, is release an entire surveillance video of a robbery, whether someone's been shot by an officer or not. What are you trying to gain? Is there a backlash from the community? Or what are you trying? What is your goal in doing this?
Well, there was three things that we're trying to get accomplished. First of all, you all asked for it, and we try to. It's the philosophy of this organization to try to work with the media and give you, when we can, items that you ask for that are legal and have merit to the public. So that was number one. Number two was just to be transparent. And you've never seen this before because we haven't had a video like this before. I think in the future, as more and more videos become prevalent in society, up to and including we're putting videos on police officers now, this kind of video is going to become more commonplace. And if we can legally give that information without any other jeopardy to a criminal suspect or a victim, then we will. So we're trying to be transparent. And plus, I guess it's like we put out any other piece of information here. We try to educate the public. We try to make them know what their police officers go through. We try to make them know what their good citizens in this community have to go through. So I think there's value in that. So I don't think we're trying to gain anything, Jared. I think we're trying to educate and be transparent.
Critics were saying, why couldn't they have tased him or taken some other action to fire 30-some shots? How would you respond to that, based on what?
Well, the video speaks for itself. You can see the timing of this, the instant confrontation. There's no chance for the officers to huddle and strategize. The officers get there. Officer 1 looks in and sees a robbery, and we train officers now to stop violence. We don't train officers to go back out in the parking lot and huddle and determine who's going to do what. We have citizens in jeopardy. We're going to go make an entry, and we've had this discussion in this room before too. That's what they did. There was no chance to strategize for that, and the action happened so quickly. Once the officer entered, and you saw it was just milliseconds. We got in and we had this confrontation, and the officer took an action. So there was, in answer to that, there was no chance to do that to remedy this situation.
You mentioned the phone call that the manager took like an hour before.
Correct.
Did he immediately call 911 or?
No.
Okay.
All that was a call was to ask the closing time of the store. Now that happens, but he felt strange enough about it to where he thought it was suspicious, and that's why you saw the early locking of the door and some other actions. So suspicious, though not enough to warrant a 911 call. I don't think anybody of any reasonableness would make that jump. So. Okay.
You have faced very vocal criticism from some of the people who were downstairs protesting every week now. Did that play into your factor as to release this? Or?
No. People have a right to protest and be vocally critical of the police department. We accept and understand that. That had no bearing on whether we release this today or not. It's the three reasons that I gave at the beginning and the three reasons I gave you just a few seconds ago about why we're doing what we're doing today.
2 more questions.
How much time elapsed before the officers arrived?
One thing that you'll notice in the raw video, there's a time stamp on that video. It wasn't on this version today. This 911 call came in at 9:57, and the officers took less than 60 seconds to respond. So you'll have to go back and do the math on it. There's a gap in there, 3 or 4 minutes, where 911 dispatchers are trying to discern what is happening in this store. So it all happens. I mean, you saw the video in its entirety. That's the length of the entire episode. So
it took the 911 dispatchers 3 or 4 minutes to realize this is a robbery.
Well, all they had, keep in mind, all they had was an open line. And then they could begin, and you'll hear it when you listen to the 911 tape, they begin to hear things which lead them to believe it is a robbery, and they dispatched accordingly. And we had a number of officers respond, which is typical of an armed robbery in progress situation.
Final question?
Was that his, it's not very important, but was that his cell phone or was it a business phone that he made that phone call from?
The 911 call? Yeah, it was the business phone.